Hello, my name is Sophia Matovo. Thank you for joining me on U Health Chat. Now, the government has rolled out a massive vaccination campaign against yellow fever disease in the country. To shed more light on our topic of discussion tonight, which is about yellow fever prevention mass vaccination campaign, is Dr. Fred Nsubuga, a focal technical officer from the Uganda National Expanded Program on Immunization. Doctor, a very good evening to you.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm okay. Thank you for taking time off this evening to come and join us in UBC.
Welcome.
Okay. Now, Doctor, we don't take it for granted. Many people, I'll ask you the question in a funny way, hold yellow fever vaccination cards, and they'll basically run to get them as first priority because they have to travel out of the country. But what is yellow fever?
Yeah, so maybe in my local I'm Uganda. So the local language is called Umsuja Kwekaka. But maybe translating it in English, it is a viral infection, mainly caused by the yellow fever virus and transmitted by mosquito. So when a mosquito bites an infected person or animal and then bites another person, it injects into that person the viruses, and after a few days that person gets fever and later becomes yellow. That's why it is called Msujagwenkaka, that illness.
Okay. How serious is this condition in Uganda?
Yellow fever, I can say, is Uganda lies within the yellow fever belt, and therefore yellow fever is endemic in Uganda. We have had yellow fever since 1942. Indeed, the first outbreak that has been recorded was in 1942 in Bundubujo. And after that outbreak, we've been having a series of outbreaks. We had another one in 1952, in 1964. Then we have had several from 2010. Indeed, in 2010, 2011, we had a yellow fever outbreak that, affected around 5 districts over Bim, Karamoja, Lamo, and Padel. And in that outbreak, 54% of the people died, those ones that were confirmed to be having yellow fever. So 54 means that if there were 20 that had a confirmed yellow fever outbreak, then 10 of them died. Another serious one was in 2020. The one of 2016 was not as serious, but 2020, that outbreak happened in West Nile. We had people in Obonji, Moyo, Maracha, Bulisa. In that outbreak, we had 8 confirmed cases, and 4 of them died. And people were saying it is, they have been bewitched. Indeed, I remember at that time when we went in West Nile, we thought when people wanted to cut each other. So it is a serious disease.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, now what are the signs and symptoms? Because, when you talk about the yellowing, I'm imagining the first physical bit that one might be able to clinically diagnose from is the eyes becoming yellow. What else? How does somebody tell? Because there are lots of different things, and you will find some of them present with the same signs and symptoms. Headache might be one of them. Vomiting might be another. But how different, apart from the yellowing of the eyes? Yeah. How can one tell that now this is yellow fever?
Yellow fever, basically, when if 100 people get yellow fever infection, only 50% will show the signs and symptoms. The other 40 will not show anything. That's why it is really very tricky. Now, the 50% who showed signs and symptoms mainly begin with fever, headache, like you have said. They get joint pains, muscle pains. They start shivering. They get diarrhea, nausea, and vomiting. Sometimes dizziness. After around maybe after around 4 days, around 50% of those people, you know, there is what we call remission. The person becomes fine as if nothing happened. And after 24 hours, some of them now get a spike fever. The figure this time is higher. They start to, the initial symptoms that happen, their eyes become yellow, their body becomes yellow, they get dehydrated because, you know, they are not feeding. They start, it is, you know, it affects most of the organs. They can start, you know, having diarrhea with blood. They start vomiting blood. Some of them get what we call kidney failure, liver failure, and 50% of those people die.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why the only way we can do is to have it prevented.
Wow. Now, when you talk about, it is quite strange the way you're talking about it. So, with that diagnosis and that is being done, because, you know, in most cases, one of the things that when most people go to the hospital, from the way they start feeling, the first bit that the doctors will do is check for malaria. Rarely will you hear of people talking about yellow fever.
Yeah, true.
Then hepatitis had also taken course, that even when the school-going kids are going back to school, it's one of those that is on their checklist. Why isn't yellow fever given that much attention?
Yellow fever is not as common. And in Uganda, the most common illness that causes fever is malaria. And malaria is also a big killer.
Yeah, true.
So when you come to the clinic, because yellow fever initially is like any illness that causes fever, the same presentation. So clinicians always suspect fever, malaria first, and therefore they will do a blood slide. Like I've said, 50% heal after that initial symptom. But when they become toxic, the yellow, because the yellow, when we give you the antimalarials initially, because even if a clinician does a blood slide and finds that you don't have malaria, but still have fever, he'll give you a dose of Coartem. You think that maybe it is still hiding. Usually malaria sometimes hides, and when you do a blood slide, you can't see it. But when you go into the phase of intoxication, you become yellow, you go back. The health worker will know, the other time I treated malaria, though it was not there. Now this time that this person has now become yellow, let's also take off a blood sample and we test yellow fever. So that's when we pick it, but we have also what we call yellow fever surveillance sites. We have sites that we have set up across the country where we routinely test all people who come with fever for yellow fever. And that's how we have been picking these outbreaks that you have been hearing around. Yes.
Now, the way the way the tests are done and the diagnosis, is it the same kind of reagents you'd use that you use when you're doing a test for malaria, or there is some specific, because since it is rare, there are specific chemicals also you use to diagnose it?
Yeah. Of course, these are special tests and we have special labs. Yellow fever is highly infectious and therefore not done in any lab. Actually, it is done at Uganda Virus Research Institute. And the tests, being a virus, because it's a virus, the tests are also very specific. The main one now, again, this one depends at the level when the patient is diagnosed. We have several tests we can do, you know, we can take off your blood and we check whether you have a virus, the real virus. Those ones, that's when we do the PCR tests. But again, when we pick you late. We are not able to pick the viruses because you can only pick the viruses within the first 3 to 4 days when you have started getting the fever. But after a few days, we can't pick the virus, and therefore we do what we call a PRNT test, plaque neutralization test, and that's when we pick your antibodies. But again, we take out of history to find out, has this person ever been vaccinated
For yellow fever.
for yellow fever? Because when you are vaccinated for yellow fever, then you may be having antibodies for yellow fever, which were stimulated because of the vaccine. So when we take your history, we find that you were vaccinated. Again, we don't take you as a yellow fever case. You may be having other diseases similar to yellow fever. But if we check that you have antibodies against yellow fever, you have never been vaccinated, then there were 2 cases of yellow fever. Yes.
Okay. Now, at what stage and who is likely, or who in this mass campaign that you're going to carry out, who is eligible for that kind of vaccination?
Yeah, during this campaign, we introduced yellow fever last year in October. But we have also been vaccinating people against yellow fever, especially when we get outbreaks. So we are going to vaccinate all children from 9 months up to people who are aged 60 years. But only those who have never been vaccinated. One dose of yellow fever is enough to protect you for life. So all those children from 9 months to adults aged 60 years who have never been vaccinated shall be eligible for vaccination during this campaign.
Now, with the way people like doing things in, you know, many people have been able to access these cards as long as they have to cross the border, but have never actually been vaccinated. What is the plan?
We have been having a lot of challenges with those people. We are aware that there are people who are getting fake yellow fever cards. Many have been arrested at the airport, but also at the border crossing points. Recently, we got information from Busia border that they were arresting a lot of people. So when we called Busia, the district officer of Busia told, doctor, these people here are having very fake cards. You know, when we arrest you with a fake card, we take it away, and then you are vaccinated. Currently, vaccination at border points, especially for adults, you have to pay, and therefore they pay and then they are vaccinated. But we encourage the people not to get the fake yellow fever cards. This vaccine, you know, it is it's not painful. It is safe. It's just a prick. Within 3 seconds, you know, you are done, and you remain healthy. You're able to do your work, but also you are protected. So we shall keep on encouraging the people to go and get vaccinated. Not just pick the fake yellow fever card. First of all, they spoil our name when they go outside our country and they are arrested. So it paints a bad picture to Uganda. You see, Ugandans are corrupt guys. That's also in our healthcare system. So our healthcare system will continuously keep tracking them, arresting them. We don't want to take them to court, but you know, we shall encourage them to always get the yellow fever cards that are, you know, genuine.
That is interesting. But have you thought about the conception and the mindset? You know, there are certain people who have their myths and misconceptions about vaccines or getting immunized, and that's why they have their own phobia. Possibly, you need to help guide. Are there any side effects from this particular vaccine?
Yeah, so this vaccine is a safe vaccine. It has been used since 1920. And there are no more reactions of vaccines. For example, if we are giving you yellow fever vaccine, it's an injection. So some people may explain some anxiety. They may get some little pain at the injection site. And a few of them get some fevers. But again, this one is short-lived. Within one, some of them, some don't get any of those symptoms. Some get within 24 hours, and they feel better. But again, what we do is that when you get these what so-called side effects, like you feel some feverish after injection, you feel some pain or the arm is swelling, we usually encourage them to come back and we re-examine them. Sometimes you may think that these effects which you are getting are because of the vaccine. Yet, you have an underlying infection. You have malaria, you have any other infectious disease. So what we do when you come back, we check you. We say, no, this is malaria. This is, the normal effects of the drug, and it will wear away. So the vaccines are really safe. Any other side effects that can come, we usually, our health workers are equipped, and they usually manage them. But most of them are usually short-lived.
Okay.
Yes.
Then why is it that the vaccine is expensive?
Oh.
There are certain times people say that it doesn't go below, I think it doesn't go below 100,000.
Yeah, true.
Yes. Why is it that this specific vaccine is expensive
Indeed,
on the market?
Indeed, I also took my children last time for vaccination. They charged me 100,000 each. I had two. I paid 200,000.
Yeah, true.
So the vaccine, most vaccines are really expensive. But now we have a chance. Currently, yellow fever vaccination is free.
Wow.
In all government facilities across the country for all children who are under 1 year. Now, for those ones who are above 1 year, these campaigns are also going to be free of charge. We are going to vaccinate all people that have never been vaccinated free of charge. What they need to do is that they need to come to our vaccination posts. We are actually going to have these campaigns phased. The first phase, which is going to happen between the 9th and 13th of June, is going to focus on 6 regions. The region of Chigezi, Kabalole, Hoima, that is Bunyoro, West Nile, Alua, Gulu, and Rida. Those are the 6 regions where we are going to focus in June. Then after June, we shall also have 5 regions in October. And then the last, that one we shall, in October we shall vaccinate, we shall have this campaign around 55 districts. And then the last phase will be in 2024, where we shall focus on Mubende, Jinja, and Imbale. That will be the last phase. And in all those phases, all the vaccines will be free of charge.
Wow. That is very good news, because I'll not forget one time we had a health camp here, and among us there was also a component of yellow fever vaccination. I think 3/4 of the people that came for the health camp were running for that because it was free of charge. This is very good. Now, when it comes to the treatment, what is the treatment like for yellow fever? Because we do know quite well, that's why some people are even very comfortable self-medicating for themselves, which is of course wrong, when they know they are feeling a certain way and then they suspect clinically that this could be malaria. They know you will take Coartem, the duocotexins, because these are the oral ones, apart from when it comes to the IVs that they will go to the clinics for help.
Sure.
What treatment is there for yellow fever?
Unfortunately, we have no treatment for yellow fever. Yellow fever is a viral disease what we do when you come to the hospital early, we manage your symptoms. For example, if you have fever, we shall manage the fever. If you have diarrhea, we shall rehydrate you. If you get any symptoms, that's what we manage. And God forbid, so if you go into the phase of intoxication, you start bleeding, then that's when we take off your blood samples, find out what you are missing, then we either transfuse you or give you whatever you are missing. And in that way, that's how we manage these patients. The only way you can do is to prevent them. The only way we do is to prevent them with vaccinating them with the yellow fever vaccine. And it's only one dose for life. 1 dose for life, and you are free. Actually, when we vaccinate you, within the first 10 days, we are sure that at least 80% of the people that have been vaccinated have now got immunity and they can fight yellow fever. And after 30 days, we are sure that at least 99 to 100% have enough protection to fight against yellow fever.
You've talked about that. Now, in terms of management, because, you know, clearly we knew it very well. We had the posters, which are still everywhere, that clearly tell you how to deal and handle somebody you suspect to be having, let's say, that time when we had Ebola, yeah? How is it for this one? Is it also infectious from touch? How does it go about?
Yeah,
because by the time somebody starts bleeding, you know, it is worrying. Then don't you get infected from that that exposure?
Of course, when somebody is intoxicated, we don't allow you. You can't just touch. That's a serious case. We don't allow you to, touch the patient like that. We have safety precautions which health workers use. And if by bad luck the waste or the blood gets in touch with your mucosa, or when you have a cut and you get in touch with those in the waste, you definitely you get the yellow fever, the infection.
Wow.
So we don't allow managing these patients at home. We usually manage them in the hospital under those strict precautions.
Wow. Okay, at this particular point, I would like us to take a very short break, and when we do come back from the commercial break, we'll still continue with this topic of discussion, which is a yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign that is just round the corner, starting on the 9th of this month.
Jerry con. Jerry con. Hey, Master Blaster. Touch him, man. Bang Jerry con with muscle. Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava. Best group is I teach you. But never come up with the squad. Because of the cover is very far. Is you serious? It's yes, you. What? Yeah? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs, and you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru, and Umaru refused to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru,
okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako, n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema. This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
She is the future of Uganda. And as a policy maker, the policies I enact today will protect her from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. Because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sauti 116. The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Gulu, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
The Resol Agribusiness Show is here under the theme Revolutionizing Agriculture through Value Addition, Innovation and Technology, scheduled for 13th to 16th June 2023 at Uhinga Stadium, Fort Portal Tourism City, with a free medical camp running throughout the show. Entrance is totally free. To sponsor, partner and participate, contact 0702 301 059 or 0773 458 492 or 0773 301 059.
The Magical Egypt Tour 2023 is here. A heavenly miracle waiting across the natural and divine attractions of Egypt, such as Cairo, Giza Pyramids, Saqqara, Memphis, and many more that will offer the gift of a lifetime. The chance to unlock all of the hidden powers of mind and soul, gain the enlightenment of the past and the future, and develop the power of healing. Departure will be Friday 16th up to 23rd June 2023. Basic package starting at $1,200, 8 days and 7 nights. To register, come to Gotove Tours and Travel at Nalkwego Complex Suta, UG's Extend, George Street, Nakasero, or call +256 758 530 059 or +256 784 568 392 or WhatsApp +256 782 556 078. Only few slots are left. Powered by UBC Television.
Welcome back from the short commercial break. You're still watching You Health Chat with me, Sophia Matovu, and with me in studio is Dr. Fred Nsubuga, who is a focal technical officer with the Uganda National Expanded Program on Immunization. It's of course under the Ministry of Health, and would say thank you to the government of Uganda for this planned massive vaccination campaign on yellow fever, because what a relief, I can even sigh, when you get to realize that you're not going to have to pay the 100,000 shillings, but here is the opportunity for you to get vaccinated for free. So look out for it when it comes to your region and just rush as soon as possible. Now, doctor, I'd like you to help me understand. Growing up as we did, everybody thought you only get the yellow fever vaccination if you have to travel out of the country. And I believe that is still what some people think.
Yeah, true.
Gladly, you also explained earlier that it's a rare, you know, a rare viral infection that you'll get to see. So why is it that way? People have never gotten down to be explained to thoroughly why they need to have it, and they just know they are getting it as a formality. It's one of the requirements you need to travel out of the country.
Yeah, yellow fever, like I said, is a highly infectious disease. And when you move from a country which has yellow fever and you go to another country which does not have yellow fever, you may be a source of infection. You know, man is a source of infection. So because of the infectious nature of yellow fever, the World Health Organization tries to ensure that you don't transmit the disease from your country to another
country.
That's why we say that there are rules that have been set up by the international health regulations to ensure that if there is a disease in a particular country, then people should not move that disease to another country. So for yellow fever specifically, this is a disease that has been targeted for elimination, and therefore we don't want people who, because Uganda is now an endemic country, that means that we have the mosquitoes that transmit the virus. We have the monkeys who are natural, reservoirs for the infection, but also the environment, the climate is suitable for this, disease. So, because of the restrictions set by WHO, that you can't leave a country which is endemic for yellow fever, which has yellow fever, to another country which is free, then that's why people know that for you to be able to move to another country, you need to be vaccinated. That's why people think that only people who are traveling to other countries are only people that need to be vaccinated. But, it's not like that. We need to ensure that we also protect our population. Our population, because we are living in an endemic country, where our population is at risk. So we need to ensure that our at-risk population is also protected, and therefore we need to vaccinate them. But also, as we vaccinate them, we also prevent them from being a source of infection. If you are vaccinated, you are not a source of infection. And therefore, when you travel outside to countries that don't have yellow fever, then those are also protected in that way. So we need to protect our people here, but as we protect them, we are also protecting the global community.
Yeah, true.
So that is the relationship.
Okay.
So people initially thought that because you are traveling, you need to be vaccinated, therefore you who are here. I think it was, we've not been trying to engage people on the benefits of yellow fever vaccination, maybe. So I think we need to go out there and tell the people that yellow fever is real, it's killing people, and we need to protect our people so that they also can protect the global community.
Okay, true, that's right. Now, having said that, that is at least a very clear explanation to somebody. I get to appreciate that now we understand why we must have this taking place. Then why did you choose to gazette the areas that you've started with in phase 1? Because there are certain times we selfishly think we who are here, we have that sense of entitlement, should be the ones to get the good things first.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
So we did an assessment. We know the whole of Uganda is a risk population for yellow fever. But among the districts and regions within Uganda, there are some which are more at risk compared to the others. So we did a risk assessment, and when we were doing this risk assessment, we looked at the districts or regions that have a lot of monkeys. So some science, you look which one has many monkeys. You also now have to put in science, and we did another one where we looked at these vectors, the mosquitoes. So which of these districts has many mosquitoes that are transmitting yellow fever?
Okay.
But you also had to look at the areas with insecurity, because when there is out of insecurity, that means that when the disease gets there, it will easily spread. There are no facilities, so the risk is also high in those areas which have insecurity. The other factor we looked at was the vaccination coverage for yellow fever. Among all these regions, which one has very good coverage for yellow fever vaccine, or which one has little vaccination coverage for yellow fever? So when we looked at all those parameters, we now categorized our districts and regions. So we put them into high risk, moderate risk, and then low risk.
Oh,
so that's how we managed to categorize Uganda into these areas.
Okay. So when you go to the districts, as you roll out phase 1 on 9th, where exactly will the people be coming? Are you having a field? Are they going to the major health facility in that region? Where are they going to find this beautiful service?
Yeah, in the districts,